In this video, we'll learn to create this animated text in Figma. I'll select the text tool to create a text block that will make up our animation. I'll create a phrase. Now let's create the second text block. To make it easier, I'll select this text block and, holding Alt, I'll drag and drop, then double-click to edit this text. I'll type Figma, which will be the animated text. I'll change the font from regular to bold and add a gradient fill. Since I already have a gradient I'll use, I'll just copy this property and paste it on my text. But if you don't have a color, just go to Fill and change it using this option. Now that we have our standard text block and our variable text, I'll right-click and add an auto layout. I'll rename this frame to Text, and I'll keep the current spacing. I'll just change the alignment to the left. Now I'll click on this text again and create a component from it. Then I'll click again to create a variant and click this plus icon one more time to create the third variant. I'll select this second variant and change its text to Webflow. And for this third variant, I'll change it to Framer. We can change the spacing of the component field here to make it easier. And now we'll change the name of each variant. So here we have the first variant. To change its name, we just need to go to this default field. We can name it here. So I'll put Figma. I'll select the second variant and change it to Webflow. And for the third variant, I'll change the name to Framer. Great. Now I'll create the text block that will be animated. I'll go to the Assets tab and drag and drop this component we just created. Now, holding Alt and Shift, we'll duplicate it once. And now we can use Control-D or Command-D to duplicate it 2 more times. Now I'll select this second element and change the option from Figma to Webflow. This third option I'll change from Figma to Framer, and I'll keep this last and first option repeating. Okay, now I'll select these 4 elements and with Command-G or Control-G, group them. Then I'll right-click and choose Frame Selection, which will turn these elements here into a frame. I'll rename this frame to Animated Text. Great. Now let's take the bottom of this frame, drag it until we find this red X, and then we'll release. Now let's select this option called Clip Content, which will only show what's inside the area we resized. Now let's create a component of this animated text. And we'll click here again to create 4 variations. So we'll select once, click this plus icon to create 1 more variant, and 1 more time to have a total of 4 variants. Now, in this step, we'll start adjusting each text in each variant. I'll select this second variant here. Select the Layers tab. I'll open this arrow in this second variant and select the text group. After selecting this group, I'll drag it up until this red border appears, which Figma tells us means we can align it at the bottom of our component. I'll select the group inside the variant and drag it until we find this third element here, the framer. And after finding this red border as well, we can release. And in this last variant, we'll select our group here, drag it to the last component. We'll drag it until we find this red border too. Great. Now, in this final step, we'll start creating the prototype and animating these texts. So I'll select the Prototype tab. I'll select this first variant, drag and drop it onto the second variant, and we'll change the animation settings. So I'll select this first option and change it from click to after delay. I'll change this delay to 2000 milliseconds. For this option, I'll change it to Smart Animate. I'll leave the ease at this quick option, and I'll leave the animation at 800 milliseconds. I'll do the same thing from the second to the third variant. From the third to the fourth variant, and from the fourth to the first variant, there will be a difference. It'll also be an after delay, but it will have 1 millisecond and it can be instant. It doesn't need to be Smart Animate. Okay, now we have our animated text. We just need to go to the Assets tab and drag this animated text component that we created last. And we'll align this animated text with the main text block. Done. We can select all the elements, and I'll drag them to our project and align them with the other texts. Now let's test how the result looks. This is the result of our animated text. I hope it was useful for you. If you liked it, leave a like to help the channel. And if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe to get the next tips. Thanks, and see you next time.